6. Treatment of learning disability. Learning disability can be treated, both in school program and in private tutoring. It requires some educational intervention, which makes the whole process of skill development more convenient. For making this possible, legal support is necessary too, so that there are proper educational institutions made, which deal specifically with these issues. Traditionally, linguistic. Psychology paper number 15, Clinical Psychology. Approaches used to engage in instructions focused on listening, speaking, reading and writing skills that are logical, sequential and multisensory, such as letter discrimination, phonetic analysis, and learning letter-sound correspondence. After this explicit instruction in reading were given. Along with the usual instructions, the traditional approach also focused on imparting various transitional vocational skills and career planning guidance for older adolescents with learning disabilities. Nowadays, educational efforts can be broadly categorized into 1. Specific skills instructions on vocabulary, finding the main idea, and finding facts in reading, and 2. Strategy instruction, including efforts to improve cognitive skills through decision-making and critical thinking. Fletcher et al., 2007. According to the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development, 2000, imparting phonetics instruction to such children can make them adept in converting sounds to words. According to the report of National Reading Panel, a comprehensive review of the research on teaching children to read, these instructions are helpful with reading difficulties too. People with dyslexia can often succeed in college with the aid of instructional supports such as webcast lectures that can be reviewed, tutors and untimed tests. Special aids are provided to such students by law. A lot of confusion and myths prevail regarding the success of these behavioral and educational approaches and the effective treatment on children's information processing. However, these can be subsided through the recent researches being done using brain imaging technology. For instance, one study used functional magnetic resonance imaging scanning to compare the processing on simple tasks of children with and without reading disorder. Temple et al., 2003. The results found that children with reading difficulties were, when exposed to 8 weeks of intensive training on a computer program which helped them build their auditory and language processing skills, not only improve the reading skills of these children, but also help their brain to functioning in a way similar to the brain of their peers, who were good readers. Behavioral interventions can thus change the way the brain works and can be used as an intervention to help individuals with significant problems. According to an old and reliable finding, Merzenich et al., 1996, children with such disorders have difficulty in discriminating certain sounds, thus were developed special computer games and audio tapes that slow the speech sounds. After gradual and intensive training with modified speech, it was seen that children with severe language disorders improved their language skills equivalent to that of developing children. However, such a training with unmodified speech stimuli resulted in very little progress. These investigators further expanded the treatment, also known as Fast for Words, by conducting a large-scale study with 500 children from the United States and Canada. These children received daily training for 6 to 8 weeks, and current results verified the previous results, that is, the intervention was effective. According to researchers, this training method may even help to prevent dyslexia, since many reading disordered children had difficulties understanding language as young children. A popular research approach developed by Carnine, Silbert and Tarver 2004 proposes the Direct Instructions program, which are systematic instructions that use highly scripted lesson plans and place students together in small groups based on their progress. In addition, children are constantly assessed and plans are modified based on progress or lack of progress. Direct instructions and a number of other related training programs appear to significantly improve academic skills in children with learning disorder. Chatendra, Sood, and Sachs, 2007. Most children with learning disability are believed to have experienced a lot of negative situations involving frustration and failure, thus, playing with their emotions and confidence. The various treatment programs are expected to provide a platform for such children to experience the feeling of mastery and self-confidence. Acknowledging even a tad bit progress can be helpful, such as Psychology paper number 15, Clinical Psychology. By giving rewards. This may help to increase the motivation of child, reducing behavioral problems, etc. According to Ellis 1993, a comprehensive intervention model to facilitate learning in LD can be vital. This integrative strategy instruction has generated considerable interest among professionals in this field. This technique envisions a variety of teacher-directed instructional strategies, aimed at imparting the learning process, orienting, framing, applying, and extending. Although the model appears to be lacking rigorously tested efficacy, yet, its knowledge-based and systematic characters are a boon to the analysis of the problems that LD children face. However, its application would demand high level of administrative flexibility, teacher skill, and teacher motivation, none of which can be granted in the average school environment. 2 studies of college students with learning disability, Greg and Hoy, 1989, Sarikoglu et al., 1989, suggested that as a group they continue to have problems academic, personal, and social in the post-secondary education years. In 1997, Kahn, Cowan, and Roy conducted a community survey on adults with learning disability, through which it was found that about 50% of them had personality abnormalities. Cato and Rice 1982 also extracted a lengthy list of problems from the available literature that had been experienced by the typical learning disability adult. The items in the list provided evidences of expected difficulties with self-confidence amongst such adults. Biological treatment is typically restricted to those individuals who may also have ADHD, which involves impulsivity and inability to sustain attention and can be helped with certain stimulant medications, such as methylphenidate Ritalin. 7. Summary. Learning disorder and learning difficulty differ in many ways. Learning disability, which refers to a significant learning problem in the academic area. Believed to have a neurological origin, this disorder affects specific areas of learning and behavior, compared to a normal person. Problems like emotional disturbance, mental retardation or hearing, vision and other sensory impairments such as cerebral palsy, should not be considered as the etiology of learning disability. Learning disabilities can also coexist with other handicapping conditions. The prevalence rate of this disorder is high, thus, one may suffer through it for lifelong. Learning disorder affects input, output, storage, retention, retrieval, and information processing. Thus, a student can have difficulty in acquiring, remembering, organizing, recalling, or expressing information. From approximately a decade, significant improvement in the quality of research on learning disabilities have been done. Learning disabilities are known to stem from a combination of biologic and environmental influences, basically physiology and operation of the brain and neurological system rather than having a single primary cause. The process of learning involves brain structure, memory circuits, and the electrochemistry of the brain cells. An optimum operation of these defined circuits can only ensure the transfer, store, and retrieval of information. According to some studies, 25%–40% of children and adolescents inherit their learning disability, and 1 out of the 3 cases of inherited dyslexia can be linked to a defective chromosome. This defective gene can sometimes go on to cause a specific brain malfunction. Thus, learning disabilities are probably caused from a variety of sources, mainly inherited tendencies, biological factors, and immature development. The most commonly adopted treatment for learning disabilities is special education. This makes the factors like environment vital. For instance, inappropriate schooling and harmful environment may complicate a disability which is already present. There are various diagnostic educational evaluations, assessed through specially trained educators, which aid to test the academic and intellectual potential and the level of academic performance of the child. After this is done, next motive involves imparting learning skills to the children by working on their abilities and strengths as well as by rectifying and compensating for their disabilities in Psychology Paper Number 15, Clinical Psychology. Weaknesses. For being successful in these steps, expertise of other fields may also be involved, such as speech and language. Therapists. Sometimes, pharmacological treatment may be sought to for enhancing the attention and concentration in the child. Furthermore, psychological therapies are at help too.